Hi, good evening. This is Simone Ferris signing in for week 2 discussion, video discussion post. Sorry, I'm so late, but I definitely enjoyed listening to the different, your different perspectives and the perspectives for Sweeney and Lavette telling a story about the barber and his wife. I thought it was interesting though that during the Sweeney scene, although the scene was dark and gloomy, the young man came in singing pretty jolly, and he was talking about his love, and the mood immediately changed when Sweeney came on, and it was like a perfect setting for how Todd Sweeney wanted to tell his story. He even began with like, "Life has been kind to you, but states you'll learn." I thought that was interesting that that we go through life and we live and we learn. He kind of was telling a story that way. He was describing London, the city as a whole, as a pit with a filth, and they, that was his description of London. He kind of described it as such. She didn't really go into detail about the city and about London like he did. He blamed London for what happened to him. I think they both agree. He describes the shadows of ghosts and daydreaming of his wife, kind of in comparison to what she talked about in the haunted house, the haunted room, I should say, in her story. He spoke as a third person, telling a story, kind of as a narrative, a personal narrative in a third person type of story. I thought it was interesting how he spoke of himself as foolish, and he talked about her being beautiful. And in the Lavette story, she talked about how he was beautiful, but yet she did, say that he was a foolishness, or he was basically got in trouble for foolishness, although he was, of course, not guilty for that. But interesting that they both, did leave that part of the fact, and that she called him beautiful and he called his wife beautiful. I thought that was interesting. So his voice becomes really harsh, and when he's telling the story and talking about how beautiful she was, but basically telling it from a male perspective. And then Lovett, I think she kind of expressed her womanliness by stating that she kept saying, that poor thing, they felt sorry for her. She told the story from actually an onlooker looking on to what happened to his wife after he got banned from the city. So she told about how she got poisoned, and that was something that he didn't know. It was just kind of ironic that he would come back, and she pretty much discovered who he was. So lots of different ways to tell the story, from an outsider looking in, and from him telling a personal narrative from third person. That was a really interesting comparison. So that's it. That's my perspective on two different outlooks. Thanks. You guys have a good night.